Hello Astro people, it's Wednesday the 15th of January 2020. Apologies that I haven't done the as much astrology as I wanted to the last couple of days. Things have been happening and we've had terrible winds and bad weather blowing absolutely huge amounts of destruction all over the place, so I've been working outside doing things like that, and the upload speed just went right down through the floor. I've been doing the tarot videos and it just didn't work out. Life sometimes doesn't work out, does it? Now at the moment we've got Mercury void in Capricorn, and that has a lot to do with the crazy weather that's going on, not just here but all around the world at the moment. So I'm going to put some of the blame on that. I've got to take some of the blame myself, haven't I? We can't blame astrology for everything, but you know, astrology is the conditions that we're given, basically, and so that's what I'm talking about, and that's really what I'm saying has been the problem. Still, I'm blessed really, because the last post I did had the moon in Leo. The moon is actually in Virgo now, so she's only moved one sign. I'm not too worried about it. So here we go. Today we've got that moon in Virgo, and that is actually going to change today. 15:43 UK time today, so that's 7:43 a.m. in the morning on the west coast of the States and Canada, where I think Prince Harry and Meghan Markle would like to be, even though they're probably not there right this minute. Who knows? Who cares? So that's 10:43 a.m. On the Florida side of things, basically on the east side of the States and Canada. 15:43, just about 3:45 here in UK time. The moon is going to move out of Virgo, into Libra. Right, gosh, I'm really behind with things today. You'll have to excuse me. We've got a waning moon anyway, and it's actually very positive for anything that you're trying to bring to closure, if you're trying to sort of consolidate things and generally get a handle on what's going on. It's a time as things start to slow down from the manic energy of the full moon that we've just been through, and we start actually being able to make more of a difference. Right this minute she is 73.9% full, and the next phase is going to be third quarter just in 2 days time, and that's going to be the 17th of January, 12:58 p.m. So that's 2 minutes to 1 p.m. in the UK afternoon. So very early in the morning in the States and Canada, unless you're on night shift, unless you can't sleep, which is really an issue for a lot of people at the moment, actually. You're really not going to see much of the change. You're going to wake up to it, basically. That's what I'm saying. And after third quarter, it really shrinks down. You know, there's so little lunar energy. It's much more about you, and it's much more about the world you live in, maybe your home, maybe your work, maybe even your personal relationships, but you become much more the focus, and you have to kind of just stand on your own 2 feet, I suppose, spiritually, and that's always a difficult one, because the spiritual life is all about the influences around us, and when those influences go down, we really become aware of ourselves. But that, my friends, is the whole point of the spiritual life, really. It's to bring us closer within ourselves, what matters to us, and the people around us. That is so important, you know. Spiritually minded people are often accused of being very sort of pie in the sky. Well, not so, because when we get into that very last quarter of the moon, after the 19th, we really do have to stand on our own 2 feet, and it really is all about us and where we are going. Anyway, today, Wednesday the 15th, the moon is trine Mercury at the moment. The sun is actually just on its way, what is it? I can't remember now, so I'm just going to have a quick look at this thing on my tablet to remind me. The sun is coming to the end of her time in Capricorn at the moment, and so the energy is on the change, really. She's going to be in Aquarius come January the 20th, so that really coincides with the last quarter coming in. The moon's trine Mercury. It's a time of smooth flowing communications. That's the positive side of it. Feelings come out and emotions are expressed naturally. Now that can lead to discussions which may be harder or easier depending who you are and where you are, particularly with regard to your relationships at home, at work, in matters of love, and actually communication with the spirit world and anything to do with that. But Although that can be tricky, it's really good to get things said and get things expressed, and it is a time of that happening smoothly, so that's really positive. A great time for anything to do with the esoteric, really, as well, even though that moon energy is waning. Moon trine Mercury, very positive in that sense. Mercury is void in Capricorn, as I've said, and that tends to bring wild winds. It really has brought wild winds here in Wales, UK. I felt really sorry for my chickens yesterday. Every time they spread their wings, the wind was picking them up and throwing them about. So they haven't had a great time. But it's nature, and I guess they're almost used to it. We've had so much of that lately. And this is the thing about Mercury void in Capricorn. In fact, it's the thing about Mercury being void in just about any sign, actually. We get this happening. And whether it's physical wind blowing around the world, or it's just sort of within our own minds, basically, the wind of change blows, and it's futile to try and resist it. It will just blow straight through anything that tries to resist it. Mercury void in Capricorn, well, things to do with transport can be difficult. It's not the same as Mercury retrograde, but it can produce difficulties. The next Mercury retrograde isn't anywhere near as it comes in. The pre-shadow is on the 1st of February, and it's something like the 18th or 19th of February when Mercury actually turns retrograde. So we're a long way away from that, I'm happy to say. But with this alignment with Capricorn and Mercury at the moment, disruptions might be happening. Schedules are kind of difficult to put together. It could be tricky. So a much better day for communication than it is for making plans, if you ask me. And I guess if you didn't ask me, you wouldn't be watching this video. So that's what I'm saying. Venus, love, money, that kind of thing. Well, Venus is sextile Uranus at the moment. We're looking at unusual events, firsts. So, if you've been wanting to experiment a bit in either of those areas, this would be a pretty good time for it. Group activities, the only thing, tend to be quite unstable when Venus is sextile Uranus. But, productive nevertheless, so don't write anything off. We'll have a look at Mars as well. Mars is square Neptune, and it just means questionable things happening. People wonder, why on earth is that person doing that? Why on earth is that person saying this? Why on earth is the other happening? It's just things go a bit all over the place. But that really works with the moon trine Mercury there, because as people express those feelings, we're going to be finding things out about people that we didn't know. The sort of thing, you feel that you know somebody, you feel that you know what they're going through, what they're dealing with, and then they'll come out and say something, and you see a whole different side to it. That's the kind of thing that can happen. There could be a bit of name calling, there could be confusion. Leadership needs to be strong and firm, basically, if you're leading something. It also says here there can be fires or other disasters, but it also says there is often more smoke than fire, and that is really worth thinking about, because that idea of there being no smoke without fire is one of the craziest delusions that people have about each other and about the world they live in. Just keep it real, that's what I always say. Jupiter sextile Neptune, it's spiritually optimistic, so that really puts the other side to it. We see people's idealistic side coming out. We can see hopes being a bit inflated, expectations being a bit inflated. But I think it's rather positive that ideologies, beliefs, what people really feel in their heart comes to the fore. So do try and work with that, guys. Do try and, keep some way in touch with the spiritual, because with the moon trine Mercury now, that is actually really positive, and that is the main alignment. The moon, grandmother moon, is the closest of the heavenly bodies to the earth, and she is what makes the biggest difference. Next thing, of course, is the sun, and as I say, the sun is just coming to the end of Aquarius now. Just coming into Aquarius now, and that's going to take another couple of days. So there we go. It's a waning moon. The lunar energy is dropping. The focus is on us, and the bottom line is I wouldn't try too hard to resist anything that you don't like. Better to try and work with these things, because what comes up in our world is what makes all the difference. I'm going to leave it it there for today, friends. I'll be back again very soon, and we'll take another look at the astro weather and see how things evolve as we go along. Thumbs up, please, if you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. When you hit the subscribe button, you get a little bell now, and if you tap that bell to receive all notifications, that is the way to go. Do please leave me a comment. It's always good to know if I've hit the spot or not. Even if not, you know, it's still good to know. So leave me a comment. It's a way of sharing the journey as much as anything else. Share me around the internet if you can. That really helps matters. And I'll see you again very soon. Peace.